talk about being in your 40s. In a couple of months, I'll be 43, and I'm reflective. When my cousin turned 40, she said that she felt this immediate switch. Like she just was flooded with wisdom, she was flooded with confidence. She just felt really good in her own skin. It was like an overnight, like she woke up like this. But for me, it hasn't been quite that instantaneous. It's more of an intentional journey of discovery. And I'd say that it's I get more and more confident. I've been getting more and more confident as I get deeper into my 40s. I feel this way because getting bolder. In fact, somebody called me bold last week. I'm getting bolder in my own skin. I'm getting re confident and re comfortable with saying the thing and showing up how I want to show up, regardless of what space I'm in. Not being rude, not being disrespectful or unkind, but just being really comfortable in my own skin and showing up that way. I've been thinking about this concept of performance based confidence versus identity based confidence. The performance based confidence, it says that, I feel good about myself. I'm confident when I win, or when I have that presentation at work and I kill it, when I decide that I want to lose 5 pounds or gain 5 pounds and you reach your goal. It's when you get the promotion or you get the raise or you get your business off the ground or your business expands, you had a new product or a service that people loved and you started generating the kind of income that you wanted to generate. That's when you're like on the mountaintop and you're like, yeah, I killed that thing. That's me. I'm that girl. That's performance based confidence because it is a reflection of what's happening externally. It's a reflection of you achieving, right? So the opposite of that is identity based confidence. And that's the confidence that says, I'm confident because I know who I am. Even when the outcome isn't certain, or even when I'm feeling a little bit stressed, or even when I did not achieve my goals the way that I wanted to achieve them, I'm still that girl. I still am worthy. I'm still valuable. I'm still brilliant. I'm still beautiful. I'm still all of the things that I know that I am. You have identity based confidence. It's easy for that confidence to be unshakable. So it doesn't matter what's happening around you. You know who you are and you show up that way. For those of you who are still in the work world like me, this can be a bit of a transition because when you're in your 40s, you're expected to show up a certain way. You're expected to be confident. You're expected to be excellent at the work that you do. You're expected to be well put together and know your stuff. All of these things are expectations. And if you were a woman in your 20s who were like the young hotshot, the one who really stood out, you were that high potential, you were on all the lists. And so you regularly got praised, regularly complimented, senior executives mentioned your name or they gave you an extra pat on the back because of the way that you showed up. And it was amazing because you were in your 20s and you were fresh and you were new, maybe new into the workforce or fresh out of college, and you just really stood out. Well, when you get into your 40s, all that new shiny stuff kind of goes away and people just expect you to show up that way. And so you get less feedback, you get fewer pats on the back. Your name isn't called as often. And if that has been your experience, leading up to this point, it can be a little bit daunting or uncomfortable because then you're wondering, oh gosh, I used to always get complimented. I used to always get a lot of positive feedback and praise, really praise for being excellent and standing out. But, it starts to wear off. The older you get, sometimes as women, the less we are seen. Older women talk about being kind of invisible as they age. In fact, my husband and I watch Matlock. The one of the things that Maddie Matlock says, is that she's at this wonderful point in her life because she's able to sneak and do all the things that she's trying to do as she's on this quest to avenging her daughter's death. Because she's an older woman, she's an older gray-haired woman, and so people just don't see her. It's easy to be ignored. And so as we come out of our 20s, we come out of our 30s, when you get into your 40s, I think that invisibility starts to set in. it can be a transition that causes you to doubt yourself if you're not careful. If your confidence is based in performance, then that lack of praise, that lack of external validation can cause you to really take a step back and look around and wonder what happened, or wonder if you're not as good as you used to be, or if you're not as sharp as you used to be. When your confidence is based in your identity, whether somebody tells you that you're the best whatever, or you're on the high potential list, or you're the you know 50 under 50, because at 40s we're not going to be 40 under 40 anymore. You know that you still are excellent, you know that you're still valuable, you know that you're still worthy, right? I'm getting to this point. I'm at this point in some areas of my life, and I'm still getting there in others. And what is giving me this anchor is truth. And for me, I get my identity through Christ. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. If you don't know what that means, I would be happy to talk to you about it. I talk to you about what it means to just have freedom in Christ, because we know that we were made in his image. And so the way that he made you is the way that you're supposed to be. And sometimes we have to remind ourselves of that, because we get into these different phases of life where we have these things happen that make us really question why we were made a certain way. But we are the clay and God is the potter. So you are exactly how you are supposed to be. You are exactly who you are supposed to be. And so when you rest in that identity in Christ, you are able to just relax and not perform. You don't have to put on a mask. You don't have to put on a show. You can just rest in who God called you to be. Another tool that I use outside of my faith to give myself language is a tool called CliftonStrengths. And this tool shows you your unique talents. It helps you understand your patterns of thought, your perceptions, it gives you language to describe how you approach things. And I encountered CliftonStrengths maybe 3 years ago or so at work, when I was leading a team. And when I got my results, it takes like 20 minutes to do the assessment, and then you get your results relatively immediately. And when I saw my results, I said, "Oh my gosh, I feel so seen! Like, they got me. That's me." And I was like, "Wow, this is so cool." But then I also read it, and I was like, this is why I have no chill. This is why I'm doing all the things. This is why I do the most, because I'm wired this way. So the CliftonStrengths assessment, it has 34 different natural talents that describe the way that you show up. And your top 5 or top 10 are like your dominant strengths. And my top 5 strengths are relator, achiever, responsibility, maximizer, and learner. My relator is why I like to have deep conversations with people. It's why I've had the same friends for 20 or 30 years. It's why I'm not friends with everybody. I'm friends with a few people, and I have really good, deep relationships with these people. My achiever strength is it's about productivity. It's why people say, "You did all that? You're doing all these things at the same time, or you've done all these things in your life." And it's because I'm wired to do things. My responsibility is why I tend to do all these things, and I get them accomplished, because responsibility strength is about having a psychological need to do what you said you're going to do. So I'm learning now at this point that if I'm not sure I can do it, I'm not going to say I can do it. Whereas in my 20s and 30s, before I was a wife and a mother, I could put a lot on my back and really, really kind of burn myself out to get it done, because it was just me. But at this point, I have to be much more cautious about how I'm using my energy. My maximizer strength means I don't want to. I'm not satisfied with mediocrity. It's good to great. It's like why I'm extra. Why, we had a birthday party for our son at our house a couple of weeks ago, and why I wanted to pot all the plants and make sure that the mailbox planter had its plants in it, because I want everything to be amazing. And my learner strength is why I continue to grow and learn new things, and it's because that's how I'm wired. So when you have the CliftonStrengths language, that helps you really articulate who you are, and just gives you permission to be you, and lets you know that it's okay to be you. I mentioned a few minutes ago that, at this stage of life, I can't do everything. I recognize that I can't do everything, and it's because when you're over 40, your energy is like currency. In work circles, we talk about your network being your net worth. That's one of those cliche things. That's true. Um, but at over 40, it's like, man, I don't have the energy for all that. I don't. I can't be fooled up with everybody. I can't be fooled up with everything. And so I have to be much more cautious and conscious about the things that I'm taking on. And you are probably the same way. You're probably a wife, a mother, you're a leader at work, you're building a business, you are a friend, you're a mentor, you're a leader, you're a woman who needs rest, you need space, and you need purpose, right? If we're not clear on who we are and what we value, then we'll spend all of our energy trying to be everything to everybody. And you don't have the energy for that. You don't need to spend your energy on that. Once you have that assurance, that self assurance that you are the woman that you are called to be, that you are confident in that you recognize that you are valuable in who you are, and you have that language of the strengths to say, yes, this is who I am, and this is why I show up this way, and it's okay, this is great, then it's easier for you to be intentional about your movement. It's intentional about your actions. My program is called Break Free and Reinvent, but sometimes reinvention isn't like totally becoming somebody new. It's about remembering who you are, right? It's not changing everything about yourself. It's coming back to yourself. It's coming back to the woman who you were called to be. Because sometimes we can get out here in these streets and forget, you know? Sometimes we get on this autopilot because we're doing the things that society tells us to do. You're doing the things that your mama told you to do, your daddy told you to do, work told you to do, your husband told you to do, your kids want you to do. You're doing all these things. And as women, especially when we're embodying all these roles, we just put things on our back and we just keep on going and we keep on going and we keep on going until we wake up one day and we're looking around. We're like, where the heck am I? Who the heck am I? How did I get here? Right? So reinvention isn't about changing yourself. It's about coming back to the woman who you always were, the woman who you know that you can be, the woman who you are purposed to be. That's what reinvention is about. It's about remembering who God really created you to be. So this month I'm doing a challenge. It's the May We Be Bold challenge. And it's a chance to remember your voice, your identity, and to remember your power and to step into that boldly. You don't need a whole life overhaul. You just need that small shift that brings you back to your core, that brings you back to who you are. So I've got a free community called Break Free and Reinvent, and you are welcome to join. I really hope you join so that you can reflect on your strengths. You can begin to notice where your own confidence comes from. So I want you to let me know in the comments if you relate more to that performance-based confidence that I talked about early on, where you feel good because XYZ, because you've done these things outside, or are you confident in who you are right now, who God created you to be, who you know you are? Are you more confident in your performance right now, or are you more confident because you are who you are? And I'll put the link to the community in the description. I hope you join. I would love to see you do this challenge with us this month, and stay tuned for the next video. So I'll be doing a series for the next 30 days on being bold, reclaiming your voice, reclaiming your power. So stay tuned. I'm going to drop a new video every week in this Break Free and Reinvent series for the May We Be Bold Challenge. I'm Thaiska, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.